Here we have two nations doing their thing in the ocean, one on each side. As you can see, the ocean hides not only coral, but fish, resources, oil, and pride as well.
This area is 280 kilometers within our coast. Our EEZ.
No, that's not true! That's impossible! The coastline is out. Mine curves inward. If we follow equidistance, I lose half my sea.
What is fair? Should we split oil or fish?
And so it
That's my
begins.
territory. Get out!
Another maritime conflict around the
Taking
world.
my fish and my oil.
Overlapping EEZs have sparked tensions, often between friends. And that is why the United Nations Conventions on Law of the Sea sets the rules, and why courts like the ICJ and ITLSO steps in to find equity where geography creates conflict. So, our study explores how these legal principles can guide Thailand, Cambodia dispute, turning conflict into cooperation through international law. So, before we dive into the case law, let's start with the legal foundation. The framework established by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS! So, adopted in 1982, UNCLOS is often called the Constitution of the Oceans. It provides the modern basis for how maritime zones are defined and governed. Under Part 5, specifically Article 55 to 75, UNCLOS introduces the concept of the exclusive economic zone, or we're calling it the EEZ! This zone extends up to 200 nautical miles from a coastal state's baselines. Within this area, the coastal state enjoys sovereign rights to explore, exploit, and manage natural resources such as fish, oil, and gas, but it does not have full sovereignty like it does in its territorial sea. At the same time, other states retain freedoms of navigation, overflight, and submarine cable laying, provided these are exercised with due regard to the coastal states' rights under Article 58. This balance between national control and international use is one of UNCLOS's core ideas. Now, when two countries' EEZs overlap, which often happens in semi-enclosed seas like the Gulf of Thailand, Articles 74 and 83 come into play. They require states to reach an agreement on the basis of international law as referred to in Article 38 of the ICJ statute, with the aim of achieving an equitable solution. However, UNCLOS doesn't specify exactly how to achieve that equity, and that's where international jurisprudence becomes crucial. Goff will now explain how tribunals have interpreted these principles through real-world cases.
Okay, so now, in studying the jurisprudence of the delimitation of the exclusive economic zones, our groups examined several landmark cases decided by the International Court of Justice and International Tribunal on Law of the Sea and other arbitrational tribunal. So one of the earliest and most influential case is Libya vs. Malta in 1985. The ICJ recognized the concept of the 200 nautical miles EEZ as part of the customary international law and emphasized that the limitation must achieve an equitable result. The court begin with an equidistance line and adjust the relevant circumstance, mainly the great difference in coastal length, including introducing in the idea of proportionality as fairness check. The same reason appeared in Romania versus Ukraine in 2009, where the ICJ again used three-stage method, drawing a provisional equidistance line and considering relevant circumstance, and confirming the outcome through proportionality. Here, the court refused to give full effect to Serpent Island, showing that small fisheries should not distort unequitable EEZ boundaries. Then in Bangladesh versus Myanmar from ITLS in 2012, the tribunal applied the structure method to concave a coastline. It adjusts the equidistant line to prevent Bangladesh from being cut off, reinforcing that concavity is a valid relevant circumstance and that the final goal is equity rather than geometry. Finally, the Barbados, Trinidad, and Tobago in 2006 arbitration confirmed that a single maritime boundary can serve both the EEZ and continental shelf when claim overlaps using equidistance and a starting point but adapting it to geography. Taken together, these judgments build a consistent juridical framework from interpreting UNCLOS Article 74 and 83. They show how tribunal balance equidistance, equalities, and proportionality to reach fair outcome in overlapping EEZ claim. This directly support our group to study by illustrating how legal principles are applied in practice and provide guidance for unresolved cases such as Thai and Cambodia EEZ overlaps, where the same equitable principle could help achieve a peaceful balance and delimitation.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So, why do you have interest in this kind of topic?
Yeah, because I find this topic interesting because it shows how land, law, political constantly interact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in maritime dispute. The EEZ regime under UNCLOS sounds so clear on papers.
Oh, really?
But in practice, the phase equitable solution leave a huge room to interpretation.
I see what you mean. Oh, you have anything to add?
Also, I want to add on that. So this means that legal reasoning and diplomatic negotiation have to work together. And by studying this topic would help us to see how international law balances national interest, fairness, and cooperation, especially in complex regions like the Gulf of Thailand.
Sure.
We do have a dispute on that as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, ผิดทาง
So, the next thing we're going to talk about is the dispute between Thailand and Cambodia. Right. Yeah. In the Gulf of Thailand, of course.
Yeah.
It's a classic example how international law, particularly the United Nations Convention on Law of the Seas.
Word.
Yep. Guides states towards an equitable solutions. So we have cases such as the North Sea, the continental shelf, Bangladesh, as he said before, versus Myanmar. So in this case, we established a 3-stage approach to delimitation. So first, we draw a provisional equidence line. Second, we adjust it to account for the relevant circumstance such as coastal geography or island effect. Yeah. And third, we test the proportionality to ensure fairness between the states. When we apply these principles, to the Thailand and Cambodia case, a strict acquittance line would make it likely a disadvantage towards Cambodia.
Right.
Because it has a concave coastal line, following the ICJ and ITLOS approach, the line should be more, adjusted slightly to reflect geographic realities, ensuring equitable results. So in the meantime, both countries could, either adopt a joint development zone, as Thailand and Malaysia did, to allow shared exploration while negotiations still continue. Ultimately, by applying the UNCLOS and established a jurisprudence, Thailand and Cambodia can transform a long-standing dispute into a model of peaceful and cooperative maritime governance. All right, that comes to an end. And in conclusion, I would like to say that I hope that this paper that we're going to conduct will help us understand more about, the Thailand and Cambodia dispute, and hope that we find a peaceful solution to prevent future conflict and solve the current conflict as well. Thank you so much.
Real talk.
Woo!